So now we have a panel on bridging research and industry in AI, a unique MENA narrative by 4 amazing ladies from Arab Women in Computing. Please join me in welcoming Nour Alkhalil, who will be the moderator of this panel, Rema, Senior AI Solution Architect from Groq, Deena, Senior Data Scientist from Careem, and Dr. Manar, Associate Professor from the University of Sharjah. Welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. We're glad to be here with you today to talk about one of the most defining topics of our age. That's artificial intelligence. But today we're going to talk about it from the lens of MENA region and how research should help in shaping the MENA AI narrative. So we know over the past 2.5 years, there has been a lot of development in generative AI in general, but we've seen some countries leading over other countries, where US and China have been some of the leading countries in publications, research output, and even the commercial AI in the worldwide. So now AI is participating to the GDP of some countries as well. However, we see that the MENA is a raw market with high demand, a lot of government initiatives, a lot of investments in setting up an AI narrative. And today, we want to tackle the topic of how AI research should be contributing to shaping up an AI strategy. So today, we're bringing the perspective of academia and industry, where we will be diving through some of the most critical questions when it comes how research and industry work together in our region. So I would like to start with Dr. Manar Abu Talib. She's a professor at University of Sharjah, also leading the Women in Entrepreneurship Research Center, with a lot of contribution to research and academic leadership. Dr. Manar, I would like to know from your perspective, what are the barriers for the AI research to really be used in the industry in the MENA region?
Thank you, Nour. I would love to thank the organizers and thank especially Nour for inviting me for this critical panel discussion. I'm very delighted, very honored. I feel big responsibility because I am the only academic here, and I have to present the picture in a very clear, accurate way for the MENA region, the whole region. But before speaking about barriers, I need to shed the light about the bright side, and then we talk about the challenges so that we can brainstorm how we can overcome them. We speak numbers, and numbers speak louder than anything else. We have good regions and countries in the MENA that they are really contributing very well to the AI growth. And according to the PwC, which is always estimating and producing economic reports, I can tell you that MENA region with high confidence is one of the highest contributors for the economic growth. That's including Saudi Arabia, UAE, Egypt, and 4 countries in GCC. And Saudi Arabia and UAE are not among the highest. They are the highest, higher than Northern Europe and Southern Europe, close to the north of America. The highest in all of these are China. But really, MENA region is doing a great job, which make the responsibility even higher. Do we have barriers? Yes, we do. I tried. Always academia, you know them with the papers. They always carry papers and they walk. I try to do my homework because the responsibility is high. I try to collect all the points so that we can have very descriptive, brief, short and sweet, so that we can give you the summary in a short and a sweet story. The first barrier that I can talk about is forming the problem. إحنا in academia, unfortunately, we are a big fan of publications. Our contracts get renewed, we got promoted if we produce publications. And unfortunately, publications sometimes, if not all the time, disconnected from the problem that's happening in reality. And this is a barrier when we talk about AI systems. And the second barrier is the data quality. If we are in MENA region and we want to produce AI systems serve MENA region, if we go and use the public data sets for other regions, so if we have data sets doesn't speak about our identity, culture, demographic, our desert, our infrastructure, our weather, so the conclusion will be not useful as well. So we need to work in MENA region about the data quality. And it should present our region so that our AI systems can serve us to the best. Now, the third barrier is we are good, technically skilled with the high, amazing coding. But the problem is not about the algorithms that we produce and the models. By the way, the problem happens after we have the curve of the accuracy high, and it works very well in our publications. After that, go to deployment, failure. So this is a barrier of translation. How we translate our models so that it can really deploy and serve the community and give the good impact. And the last barrier is the software lifecycle that we use. We are having heavy software industries. We are doing well in MENA region, but when we talk about developing the AI systems, we cannot follow the traditional software lifecycle anymore. If you are aware about the DevOps, maybe this is the closest that can do well in our deployment of the AI, which you need to inject specific activities in a certain phases so that you will be able to develop accurate AI systems. This is the summary of the barriers. The barriers is not funding. The barriers is not the IP. These will come naturally to be solved if these four major things will be solved. And we have a bright side of solving these barriers, the time that we will speak with the industries, and we close the gap between us.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Manar. Deena, from your perspective, I know you're a data scientist at Careem, and we know Careem is a leading in the MENA region with a lot of applied AI use cases. I would like to hear from you what kind of collaboration models you had with the research and what were the challenges that you faced as industry?
Thank you, Nour. And thank you, Dr. Manar. I think the main point of contribution or collaboration, let's say, between the industry and between academia is through internships at the moment. So a lot of universities have made it a mandatory requirement for students to do 2, 3, 4 months of internship in a company in related fields so that the students can actually see how this theory that they've learned in their classes, in the school, how it's actually used in the industry and how it can create impact. And I think internships are a great way to do that. I personally did 2 internships during my undergrad, and it was in one of them where I was introduced to machine learning. I didn't even know about machine learning before I did that internship. And it got me to where I am today. So it was a very important point in my career that got me to work on data science at the moment. Another thing, which we are kind of similar idea to internship, but it's something that we're doing at Careem, which is the next-gen, like engineering next-gen program. And what this is it's a program for fresh grads. So you finish your degrees, whether it's in computer science, electrical engineering, whatever it is, and you want to get into the industry. You want to understand how the industry works. So what this program is these people who are the participants of this program, they would come in, and instead of just working in one specific department or one specific functionality in the company, they get to rotate. So for example, the first few months, they would work on a project in ML engineering. And then they would move to something more in data science. And then maybe they would leave the whole data and AI org, and they would work on cybersecurity, for example. And this is a great opportunity because it gives them an overview of the different functions in the company and how they can contribute. And hopefully by, maybe a year, 2 years, they can reach a point where they know this is where I want to work. This is where I see myself giving the most impact. So this is also a great way. I've personally worked with many of my colleagues in this program, and they always have a very fresh perspective on how things are done, because also they get to see how different functionalities all lead to having this one working app. Because even senior members, we usually don't see that, right? Like we're working on one specific thing, so I know my department, how it works. But I don't know how the other departments are all working and how all these functionalities come together. I would say maybe another thing we do, which is not really collaboration, but we do refer to literature and we do refer to academia when we're trying to come up with solutions for the problems we're facing. So usually when I'm working on a new initiative, the first thing I would do is go through literature, look at papers, look at research, see how people are solving this problem. Because most likely it has been done before, right? Like there are solutions that are at least similar to what we're trying to do. So that's another thing we usually do. And especially if I want to, like in MENA region, the main thing we use research papers for is when it comes to Arabic NLP. Because this is where we speak Arabic. We know the difficulties of the language. We know how there are so many different dialects, how it's very difficult to build a model that actually understands the language and the dialects and differences. So we usually do refer to the MENA literature when it comes to Arabic NLP. Now, having said all of that, obviously there are a lot of challenges. The first thing is when it comes to the Next Gen program, which I spoke about, I was involved in the hiring process in the last round, and it was very difficult to find fresh grads who have both the ML knowledge as well as the software or the problem-solving skills. So it seems like students are now kind of choosing one path. They either go with the machine learning approach and they understand the algorithms, they understand data experimentation, analysis, and all of that. Or they go the software route, which is where they understand more on the problem solving, on structuring the code, complexities, and all of this. And it seems like it was surprising to me, to be honest, but it seems like there is a gap between students who have both, who are focusing on at least understanding the fundamentals of both and not just choosing one of them. The other thing is when it comes to research, it's hard to find research that's relevant to the problem we're solving. And maybe part, at least, of the reason I've seen when I was a member of the committee in the faculty of scientific research in one of the universities in Jordan. And this committee, one of the goals was to look at the research and evaluate the research that's coming out of the university. And I noticed that a lot of academics, they focus on global trends when they want to choose the topics to work on, which obviously makes sense because they want to get published, they want for their papers to be accepted, so it makes sense. But the issue is that no one is solving the regional problems. No one is looking at what this region specifically is lacking and what the problems are to solve it. So that's another thing. And maybe to add on that, even when we do find research papers which are relevant, they're usually tested on clean data, which if any of you has ever worked with data, you know it's almost never clean. There are always issues with the data. It's always something is missing, something is wrong. And we spend a lot of our time just working on the data to get any information out of it. So that also poses a gap because even if we do apply those methodologies, we will not get those same results. And lastly, the metrics we're tracking are different, right? So in the academia, you're usually tracking some kind of accuracy metric, right? So you're looking at maybe accuracy, precision, or any kind of other metric which is relevant to the field. But in industry, accuracy obviously is important, but at the end of the day, if it's not leading to new users, or it's not leading to an increase in order value, or it's not leading to conversion of users, then it's not really useful for the industry. So this kind of gap between the metrics that are tracked in the academia and the metrics that are tracked in industry, this also causes an issue because, yeah, it might be a better model or a better approach, but it's not leading to actual increase in my conversion or increase in the metrics that we're tracking in the industry.
Great. Thank you, Deena. I think that leads us also to understanding why researchers are not approaching the industry, basically. So, Rema, I know you're also coming from a technical background, also doing MBA now. You work at Groq, that's a company that builds AI infrastructure to help businesses build and adopt AI use cases. From your point of view, do you think researchers today are encouraged to go to the industry, to talk to them, work with them, and why is that?
Thank you so much, Nour, for a great panel, and thank you, my colleagues. I'm gonna use the answers that my fellow panelists answered earlier to answer this question. So as Dr. Manar said that usually researchers are structurally discouraged to look at industry problems because what they are looking after as a golden standard is a peer-reviewed paper, and this is what gives them the next bonus or extending their contracts. So for them to look at, as Deena said, the messy and very unclean data in the industry, it's just another problem that is not part of their career path or their acceleration and their roles. So why would they dedicate time and effort to look at messy data from the industry when they can just produce new architectures, new solutions, new algorithms that are in theory or on a perfect environment work very well, but once it's taken from the university and plugged in the actual world, especially in startups. I come from Groq. It's a startup that looks after AI chips. So when you look at like these startups, when we take research from academia and we try to plug it in the real world, it collapses. So correct, Dr. Manar, it always is a failure, and it needs a lot of tuning and a lot of work post this research to make it actually work in the real world. So I would say that they have the hunger, and they are intellectually hungry for addressing these problems, but we need to rewire how the incentives and the research programs are in the academia to support and work hand in hand with the industry.
That makes sense. I think this leads us to the question of how can we mature this process of collaboration between academia and industry. So Dr. Manar, I would like to hear from you on academic level. What are you doing to bridge this gap? How are you improving the way industry works with these?
Always hope. I cannot agree more with Deena and Rema, and of course our respectful moderator. IBM mentioned that 70% of the whole process, it's spent on the data pre-processing. So imagine that if you do this portion of 70%, the rest of the tasks are easy. Modeling is easy. We are strongly technical. We have no issues, all of you. Plus, for the problem formation, I fully agree. That's why we adopted at the University of Sharjah as academic institution the quadruple helix, which make all of them talk from day number one, agree from day number one, because we will not publish a paper and try to convince the industry, yalla, inject the constraints that the industry needs to make your model working well, even though I published high accuracy or high using the evaluation metrics in a very high scopest indexed reputable journals and conferences. So what did we do? Did it work? Yes. I have a successful case study of the establishment of the Aviation Center of Excellence at University of Sharjah. That work hand in hand, heart by heart, with the data from them, data sets from them from day number one, so that it can describe the region, it can describe the country. We train it on the data that is taken from the region. And we formulate the research problems. Imagine that this center now, it's more than 5 years, works in real problems connected to the community. So what is this quadruple helix? It is 4 things. as the label it is. You involve the academia. We cannot get rid of academia. It is an important component, even if we are big fan of publications. And we have to have the industry. We have to have the third, the government. And the fourth is the community that we are serving. And this is what we did. Nowadays, we have problems like what? In that aviation general authority, civil general authority, which is federal entity, works closely with us in this center, who has connections with the industry. We developed AI systems, even serving their units in finance or procurement. I'll give one example on LLM application, something for the local data to answer certain inquiries from their big data of many PDFs or many PowerPoints. But of course, we need to consider the privacy of these data, and we need to put some measurement and some coding to take care of this. Other technical research problem that formulated, and this is federal entity, it is the country, it is the government. We worked on things in CVR and FDR, and we as computer scientists, we still need to understand their domain and discipline to understand their research problem. But we agreed from the first day, working together, and we developed AI systems for anomaly detection. What is FDR? It is flight data recorder, you know, like the black box in these aircrafts that collect a lot of data, and we need to detect any abnormal behavior to save before the time and to predict them before the time so that we save any air accident thing. Similarly, we can align this problem with the CVR, which is a cockpit voice recorder, trying to predict the pilot status from that recorder. You know, there is overlapping of voices, there is noise, there is background noise. How we can, using the AI, separate these and have a clean voice, and it change this speeches to text and maybe detect the emotions and the pressure so that we can predict things before something go wrong. We also worked in research, I remember, that was 2 years ago, about the aircraft conflict detection and resolution to see and predict the aircraft paths if they will have any conflict. You know, we have so many flights every day with a million from different countries. And we do drones forensics, digital forensics, and such as. Do we have successful use cases? Yes, this is one just from University of Sharjah. But I'm telling you, I assure you that I saw similar experiences for the other universities and other centers. I'm sure this university is doing something that is connected with the industry and developing AI systems, formulating the research problem from day number one. Yes, we have successful models. Yes, we need to increase the awareness. We are in the right track. We just need to increase the efforts, and we can produce with no issues. That's why we have high numbers in our economic predictions of PwC, and it shows that the MENA is doing well. So we need to keep doing well and increase these successful use cases.
Great, thank you, Dr. Manar. I think Deena, as someone also in the industry, I work in the domain of building AI products as well. I've never seen anyone from academia reaching out to the industry, at least in my cases, to know what's there, what's in the market. What kind of initiatives you think can be done to really have an open dialogue between industry and academia in general, and have them collaborate on more market-driven use cases?
I love hearing about this. Is this working? Yeah. I love hearing, yeah. Yes. We are doing something similar at Careem. So we are doing a partnership program between universities and Careem, where we present to our engineers or product team. They come up with the different problems that we need researchers for, and we share them with our partner universities. And then grad students can choose to base their entire research on these problems. And they work in collaboration with Careem. So they get access to Careem's data, obviously within the constraints of PII and everything. But they do get access to the data. They do get access also to the engineers at Careem. So they get to work with them. They get to understand their perspective, learn from them as well, and see how they can work together to find solutions to the problems that we're solving. And what this does is it helps Careem because we have a potential solution to the problem that we're facing. And the students get to actually work on real data and have the research come out of just papers and publications to actual products where you actually see the results of what you're doing. So far, we've collaborated with 9 different universities, some of them in Pakistan. We have a few in the UAE and Egypt. And we're trying to expand this more and more and more. We do have challenges, and maybe I can mention them later, but we do have challenges with this, especially when it comes to contracts, because universities are not used to having relationships or partnerships with the private industry, private sector. And what this means is there's no precedent. They are not sure how to properly write the contract, what needs to go there, who has authorship rights, who has publication rights, what happens to the data, what happens to the project. So all of these differences, they actually, like, instead of taking a few weeks, it can take months and sometimes years just to get a signed contract.
Maybe it will never be signed.
Yes, yes. Actually, I initiated contact with, I know a professor in a university in Jordan, and I know they would be so excited to do this and to work on with collaboration with Careem. I started the communication with them in beginning of 2024, okay, 2 years ago, and we still don't have a contract, just because it got lost somewhere in the system, which is really sad, because it would have helped a lot of students just kind of get more real data, right? Like they can actually work on real problems and solve real issues. So doing more of this, doing more collaborations, talking more. Like we don't know. I think the main issue is that we don't communicate. We don't know what academia is doing, and academia, they don't know what our problems are because we just don't talk to each other. So things like this, like a conference like this, where you have both people from the industry as well as researchers, is a great start because we can actually start to discuss what kind of problems we're facing. Another thing we can do is maybe we can have, similar to how I was part of a committee in a faculty, we can have the opposite as well, right? Like we can have academics and researchers sit on department meeting as part of stakeholders meetings, just to understand the kind of challenges that engineers are facing, the kind of issues that we're seeing. And then it can bridge that gap, and it can actually start the conversation and move the research in the direction which would actually help the industry and actually help the engineers solve the issues that they're seeing.
Great. I think, Rema, from your point of view as working in startups as well, how do startups try to collaborate with the academia? Because as you know, in startups, we go through shorter development cycles. We always want to move fast, while research also is something that takes time, basically.
Yes. I would say that this is based on my own opinion. But rather than students having the opportunity to intern at startups, at companies, why don't we flip that and take our engineers and get them some time in the AI research lab at universities to look at these problems and algorithms at universities and that are computationally efficient and can be deployed in the real world and bring it to startups and to the industry as well. Other than that, like working hand in hand with the publications that academia excel in, if we take these publications and give startups the right infrastructure to take it and deploy it, because usually startups and companies, they're really fast in deployments. They like to deploy things yesterday, not even today. So imagine if we have the right infrastructure here in the kingdom with AI chips and can be accessed by university professors, by startups, engineers. They wouldn't have to think about the hurdle of finding the right cloud at the right cost or a local sovereign infrastructure within the kingdom to experiment on these research problems and bring them to the industry. So once we have this infrastructure locked and localized, it would even help us, rather than taking our innovative research ideas, our best research ideas to foreign clouds and training them in foreign clouds, we could have this opportunity done here in Saudi, on Saudi soil or within MENA region. So I would say that, to summarize it, having the right infrastructure help industry as well as academia to experiment and deploy these algorithms or problems.
Great. I think you're right with that. Our motto is fail fast in startups. We'd rather build and ship something broken rather than not shipping something at all. I think, Dr. Manar, from your point of view, like discussing all of this, definitely government have a part in bridging this gap. What do you think are the policies and procedures that whether government, academia, and private sector should work toward in order to mature this relationship between the industry and the research, basically?
I think because I'm coming from UAE, I'm teaching in this country, we have a clear national agenda. We have a Ministry of AI. We have a minister for AI, His Excellency Omar. And for Saudi Arabia, they have also national agenda, and they are working very good. They have clear what they have to do for the next 10, 20 years. So these national agendas, they are imposed automatically to the academic. We are aware of them. Anything comes from the Ministry of AI or even the Ministry of Education and the Scientific Research, we do work all the time. I'll give you an example. So whenever we see there is a high demand, and khalas, we need to develop AI systems. And by the way, when I say development of AI systems, this is not only for computer scientists. Now I can see our master's students in civil engineering, PhD in industrial engineering, other master's students in communication, College of Communication. All of them, they are using now AI as a part of thesis topics and research where they can deploy solutions so that it will serve this field or domain. So automatically it's, let's say it's top-down approach. The countries have a clear vision, and it's automatically coming to the academia as a default and automatic result. And myself, I was involved in committees to establish programs, bachelor in AI, PhD in AI. And myself, I was although I was against to have dedicated degrees on these areas, because I feel this is more, not anymore technology oriented. This is khalas, it becomes something that is multidisciplinary, and we shouldn't dedicate a degree on it. It will become natural knowledge transfer to whoever in whichever field or discipline. Now, I agree with Rema and Deena. I agree that having a good network, having events like hackathons and so forth, MenaML, this is amazing platform. This is amazing. I just reached today morning, got to know for 4 speakers, listening to Dr. Amir and Dr. Tamara, Dr. Sami. It's fabulous. Look, we have to give round of applause, please, all of you. This platform is one of the national agenda. Can you see the audience? They are bright faces. When I see one after the other asking the speaker after his speech, and even the slides shown here, all AI and very attractive, very colorful, eye-catching, technically very amazing. So it's really, we are doing a great job in MENA. I think all what we can do is just continue the great job, never give up, keep working with the industry. It's not, I will not say not hard, but not easy. No, it's something doable. You can do it easily, because when we started this aviation center of aviation, Center of Excellence of Aviation, we worked hard. It took us maybe 5 years to make it successful. But come and see the other successful stories. Since we built a successful model, it becomes now easier, less in years, to establish even other centers or other initiatives. I will recall the recent initiative is Sharjah Smart Center for Climate Resilience. That came as a quick call from His Highness, the President of the University, because of the flood that you have heard about it in UAE, and it was a very problematic that we lost many lives, and we needed to act very quickly. This center has been established easily, and we work in AI systems, and because we have successful previous examples, so it becomes easier to adopt the new use cases. So Nour, I think we need to keep the good work. I'm a very optimistic woman, and I have to let my audience believe that the 4 barriers we talk about, we already solved them by these good examples, and they leave this room, even leave this summit after 29th or 30th, with the big hubs. Everyone has plenty of AI systems to develop, target the industry, talk to them, they will listen to you, believe me, and once you build one successful story, others will come in the queue.
Great, thank you, Doctor. I think we're almost running out of time, so what I would like to close with is that definitely we have to work toward a MENA AI narrative. We see a lot of initiatives from governments, a lot of budget being put. There's AI strategies across countries. We do encourage researchers to come and talk to us, to the industry, create forums like this where we can come and talk together and discuss ideas. I think we have the people, we have the skills, we have the money. It's just about shaping up and bridging this gap that we have today. So I would like to thank our great speakers. Would like to thank you all for listening. And maybe we'll open up for questions if anyone would like to ask anything or comment on any of the discussion points that we had today. Thank you.
Thank you for this amazing talk. My name is Mohammed. I am incubation lead at Qatar Science and Technology Park. My question is for Dr. Manar. If we look at the MENA region, like the number of local scientists per capita is very low compared to countries like Estonia or Germany. What strategies the MENA region can follow to increase this number in terms of research capacity and entrepreneurial capacity? Thank you.
What is your source, Mohammed?
Your source?
Yeah, the source
according to the OECD,
the low number of
it's below 2,000 scientists per million in KSA and in Qatar.
Scientist for me. Is it AI scientist? You mean?
No, like generally scientists.
Yeah.
But we can agree that the number of researchers and also in AI, we are depending on expatriates and we don't have a local pipeline of scientists. Okay. So how can we keep up with other countries?
Okay, I'm very proud of my university. I will give you, I love to talk, I'm a software engineer. Okay. I always, when talk to anybody to convince them, I speak either numbers or statistics or facts or successful stories. We have, in our University of Sharjah, we engage our youth, the undergrads, and we are very popular about this. Even in our country, in UAE, not all universities do the same. We engage our undergrads with the faculty research. Imagine, I remember, now I have lab, that's why I wanted to show some pictures of my people, because really I'm empowered by our youth, our scientists. Yeah, and it is full of undergrads, students who work as research assistants in our research labs. And they always amaze us that we can handle the job. And believe it or not, they can do systematic literature review, they know how to read research papers, they know how then to code, they know how to put it in GitHub, they know how to grab it from other GitHub and try the other work, they know how to work with the open source systems, they know how to enhance it and how to do it. The best way, Muhammad, is to engage our youth, because when we want to build a strong generation with high number of scientists, engage them in early stage. And it has been proven in the University of Sharjah, and I know North America, they engage undergraduates, and they have a global undergrad research conference to show for the globe that undergrad can deliver, can do research, can be scientists in early stage, can work with mentors and higher in degrees scientists. Believe it or not, I count so much in my undergrads. I have more than 100 undergrads working in my research lab.
Thank you for your answer.
And they are doing very well. So, yes, we can do it. We can increase the number of scientists, although I doubt your source.
No, UAE is doing well. I'm talking about KSA and Qatar. We are really below average. Yeah.
But engaging youth, making them capable at early stage, and they showed and they proved they can. And they produce. They produce with us publications, they produce with us applications, they produce with us systems. We put them with us, with these VIP meetings with the industry. We make them a presenter in front of them. We are proud of them. And they are amazing. So work on the youth. And if you give me the even, I can tell you we can work even from the high school. And it is now a search hot topic to engage. Can the high school students deliver? And I tell you the answer, yes, they can. They can. Even them, we can involve them so that, as Deena mentioned about the problems solving skills, yes, we lack this because I told you we are strong in technical, but we are not really enhancing the problem solving skills to be connected to the research problems serving community. So maybe this should be also done in early stage, maybe in the high school stage. Thank you, Muhammad. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. I think we have
Thank
more
you so
questions.
Thank you so much for the amazing panel. As a woman in computing, is there a skill, a lesson, or an insight that you learned a little bit late in your career and you wish you'd learned a little bit earlier? I can't hear you.
Lessons learned.
Didn't we amaze you that we are four women in this panel discussion?
That was the intention.
We have to. I will let maybe Deena and Nour so that we give the chance.
Yeah, I think something I learned is to just kind of believe in myself more. Usually, I'm the only data scientist in any company I've worked in. Yeah, currently at Careem, we are a team of 32, 33 data scientists. Up until 3 months ago, I was the only woman data scientist. So I'm usually the only woman in any team. And at first, when I first started my career, still fresh out of university, I was very nervous. And I would kind of doubt myself a lot. But then I learned, just trust yourself. You are here because you deserve to be here. You have the knowledge, you have the skills, you have everything that anyone else has. So you just believe in yourself and go for it.
Yeah, maybe I can also comment on this one. I've been in the industry for 15 years, maybe. I've had experiences working in the Middle East, Europe. I think the first thing that I would tell anyone, be curious. When you see new technology, something coming up, try to learn. Our domain specifically is a continuous learning. You don't stop when it comes to information technology, AI, or any of these technologies. Every day there's something new. The evolvement we've seen in the past 2 years has been more than the past 15 years in the tech world, right? So be curious, be confident. Same as Deena, I've had opportunities, or many times I've been the only female in the room, leading teams of engineers, working closely with CEO and C-level executives in companies to bring our vision to life. Be confident, believe in yourself. I think that's really important. Don't feel that you're left out just because you're the only female. It's an opportunity for you to bring a different perspective, honestly, to the table.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Abdullah. And I am young researcher, and I am very interested on this panel title as a research gap and in AI industries. So my question goes to Dr. Manar. From your experience, what kind of contribution from early career researchers actually attract industries or grant supports, open source works, applied and pilots or data sets and something else? Yes.
This is a good question.
As young researchers.
As a young.
Yeah, junior, not senior.
You are all the power. Don't underestimate yourself. We really count on the youth. We are all people, not energetic like you. Okay. You have to belong to a research group or belong to a faculty member. Because usually, as a young researcher, we have opportunities for you. But it is limited to hackathons, scholarships. It is limited to short term, let's say. And sometimes these short term open the door for you for long term, which happened to some of my students. They work in a short term work. When the industry see them that they are potential, they hire them, they give them long term contract, and vice versa. This is an individual effort. But if you want to attract industries, I highly recommend to go to your faculty member or to work within a research group. Each university has specific research labs or specific research group. Be affiliated to a group so that when you come to work, you can convince your faculty member and he can establish the communication. Because usually industries, unfortunately, they will speak to the institutes. They will not speak to individuals. Even they don't speak to us as individuals. So they will speak that this faculty working in this research lab, and he has a team, and you are one of these team. Then you can show your power, and you can show your strength, and we have successful stories that you will be engaged in a real research project all the time. Just to enter to that thing, it will take time at the beginning. But any efforts spent will pay off 100%, million%.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Manar. There's one more question. Yeah.
One last one, very quick one. Thank you so much for the...
I met you today morning.
Yes, this morning. Thank you so much for the energizing talk. I have a very quick question. Just a very recurring theme is how do we choose between PhD and industry? And at which point do we, especially as the salaries of industry and big tech are becoming very attractive versus academia. So do you have any advice for people in the room here on how to make a choice and which path to follow? Thanks.
Tough question, huh? I can give an answer.
It is a very critical decision. PhD is long journey. So if you take this decision, you have to be responsible for it. But now the mindset has been changed for the PhD honors. So if you are a PhD holder, nowadays you can work in industry, you can work in academia. So the stereotype, and we used to have it, that PhD will end up in academia, actually it's not anymore. But we need to ask the person. Every person has a special interest, a special vision, because I cannot generalize the answer for everybody. And I do mentorship with plenty of my male and female students. They always ask me this question. Should I go continue my PhD or should I? And of course, I tell them this is a huge decision. You have to be 100% sure, because you cannot get into the PhD and then in the middle of the way you are stuck. I don't want to continue. It's not good. Better you have a clear vision from the beginning. What do you want to do with the PhD? Do you want to use the PhD in the industry? In that sense, then do your PhD with the industry. Do your PhD thesis with the industry so that it will be easier for you to be later hired by the industry in their research lab or in their specific high qualifications that require the PhD degree. Other than that, I tell them no need for the PhD. But I tell them at the same time, nowadays everybody is bachelor. I tell them bachelor is not enough. In this age, bachelor is not enough. Now it's a must. Everybody get master degree, to be honest. Well,
outdated.
We were talking about it in the lunchtime. You should acquire the master. Master is good for both academia and industry. It works for both. People, industry, they like master holders, and academia, they like also master holders.
Thank you, Doctor. I think Rema would like to also provide her perspective.
I had the same question. I just graduated from my master's in data science and advanced computing from University of Reading in the UK. And I was pushed by my professors, by my brother to pursue a PhD. and I picked startups instead. So I think that the answer depends on you and what phase you're in your life. For me, it did not resonate with me to go on a 4-year journey because I'm a mother of a toddler. PhD is a full-time job. You cannot be a mom and do a PhD. It's not easy. So you could always go for an MBA. I'm pursuing now MBA at Imperial College London, and it is a very hot degree nowadays. PhDs are coming into the industry. I see a lot of PhD holders that are taking leadership roles, especially at Humane and Sadaya. There are a lot of PhD holders that I worked closely with, and they are our trusted leaders there, and they are driving AI in Saudi. So it's always an advantage to have a PhD, but plan for it at what stage of your life you want to dedicate for 40 years of your life in a research lab.
Great.
Yeah, what is your last degree you got?
I'm master holder, but the question was not for me. The question is more for the audience.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
at Google
we heard this
DeepMind, and I'm in
question
industry full. Yeah. PhD is not on the radar.
Yeah, I think we heard this question in the past
yeah.
few days a lot about, do I choose academia or industry? So I think we're already up time. I would like to thank you all for being here today, for listening to us, and for sharing your questions with us as well. I hope this discussion leads you to open up your perspective about how you collaborate with the industry. Try to approach us. We are fun to work with, and wishing you all the best of luck. Thank you all.